In 1784, Awadh was hit by a famine so severe that even the nobility had nothing to eat. So the Nawab of that time, Asaf-ud-Daula, did something strange. He hired 20,000 people to build the Bada Imambara, one of the largest vaulted chambers in the world, and then paid the rich ones to sneak back at night and tear down what they had just built. Now I visited this very monument last year at a friend's wedding, a monument that stood for the symbol of generosity, and here's the strange story behind it. Now this famine lasted almost 11 years. It hit everyone, not just the labourers but the local elite too, who lived off the land and had nothing left either. The Nawab commissioned architect Kifayatullah to design this massive hall and made it food for work program. Come build, get fed. But there's a problem money can't fix. The elite were too proud to work shoulder to shoulder with their servants. They would rather starve than be seen labouring. So as the story goes, the elite would sneak in at night through the Bhul-Bhulaiya, the maze built into the complex, and quietly undo the part what had been built that day. The maze gave them the anonymity. Nobody had to see a nobleman doing manual labour. The architecture itself made the whole trick. That's part of why the famine relief construction stretched on for over a decade. It's petty, it's absurd, and it's honestly kind of brilliant. He didn't just feed 20,000 people, he built dignity into the structure itself. Here's the thing though. Few years before that, in Bengal, under East India Company control, a famine had already killed an estimate of 7 to 10 million people. The company's response? At the time, Bengal was run under something historians call the dual system. The Nawab kept nominal authority, but the company controlled all the revenue. Nobody was actually accountable for the relief, and the company kept collecting land revenue from starving province almost in full, the entire time. As the company took over more of India's administration, the pattern hardened into policy. Generous relief was seen as a fiscal risk. Fear was it would encourage people to stop working. So wages on relief works were set deliberately low, not to help efficiently, to filter out everyone except the truly desperate. For the next century, it got more deliberate. British policy pushed Indian farmers away from diverse, drought-resistant crops like millets toward cash crops for export, indigo, cotton, opium. Now some of this was forced, like the Tinkhatiya system that spread through Bihar in 1800s, where farmers were required to dedicate part of their own land to indigo instead of food. So by the time the Great Famine of 1876 to 78 hit, killing over 8 million people, less local food to fall back on. By design, colonial administrators kept exporting grain out of the very districts that were starving. Fast forward to 2005, Manrega is built specifically against this colonial logic. Any rural household can demand work and the government is legally bound to provide it. No cap, whatever it costs. In December 2025, Parliament replaced it with a new law, VB Gram G. To be fair, it's still a legal guarantee on paper, it's actually bigger, 125 days instead of 100, and it restores the unemployment allowance if work isn't given in time. But the government also changed how it's funded. Instead of center covering the cost of whatever demand shows up, each state now gets a fixed pre-decided budget. Worker unions looked at those same planned budgets and calculated that in some states, the money only stretches to 14 or 30 or 40 days. Nowhere near 125. They've been protesting since the law took off in July 1st of this year. Now a Nawab solved the same kind of problem by letting the rich tear down their own work at night. An empire solved it by making relief just painful enough to keep most people away. And 240 years later, we're still learning the same lesson. A welfare promise needs two things to actually work: money that matches it and a design that lets people take it without shame. Get either one wrong and it doesn't matter how generous the law reads on paper.